Hello, everyone. I'm Rich Pierce. Thank you for joining us for this edition of One-on-One with Rich Pierce. This week, I'm joined by Steubenville City Manager Jim Mavromatis, who just signed on for 2 more years in the post. Jim, thanks so much for joining me today. And, of course, congratulations on re-ing up for 2 more years as City Manager.
My pleasure. Thank you, Rich.
Well, first, I want to get right to water. Another break here on Thursday this week, and it was a pretty sizable one, but this is part of the ultimate fix, right?
Yes, it is. Unfortunately, we knew when we started this project that you're going to have lines that'll break. You'll have fire hydrants that the seals will come undone. Some of these seals weren't done properly back in the years when they were put in there. We have crews out there right now that have been working since 1 o'clock today. We had 2 12-inch lines that blew after exercising the valves. Again, they're on top of it. It's going to cause some water outages in some areas, but hopefully they'll be back soon enough. News 9 had a crew out there. They got a chance to shoot there. I was able to talk to the reporter there. So, again, they're on top of it, and they're doing the best they can.
Yeah, right. And you can see right there, I mean, that's no joke. That's a lot of water spilling out there.
And there's also, on that roadway there's actually buckling in 2 spots because of the water underneath.
So something to certainly keep an eye on. And is that something that could potentially happen again as this process continues on?
We're focusing on now with the contractors, the subcontractors, on how we're exercising those. But again, until you really know, until you truly exercise those valves, which a lot of them have not been done, when one blows or it snaps off and you have to deal with the issues. One thing that's been good for us, this is not a freezing day. Had this been a sub-zero day, it made it more miserable for it. And then we'd end up having an ice slick going down. And we've had ice slicks before while I've been here. We've had water line breaks, and it builds up.
Yeah, when it's on a 70-plus degree day, I mean, that's ideal when you have a water break.
Absolutely. Ideal for the men, ideal for everybody to get that project done.
Right, and obviously this project is incredibly extensive. It's millions of dollars. It's been a source of some consternation from folks because of higher rates that they'll have to be paying now when it comes to water and wastewater. But why is it so important to get this done right now?
Well, as individual residents here, you need to look at something. What do I need to survive here in the city? Guess what? You need water. You need sewage to get rid of it. And you actually need your garbage pickup. I've been in countries where they didn't have garbage pickup. They walk outside of their home or their restaurant and they just throw the garbage in the street. Well, you can't do that here. Garbage brings diseases, flies, everything. This is what you need to live a normal lifestyle. They should increase these rates several years ago. They did not. I have to give credit to this council. As much as they didn't want to make the decision, they made it. We made it so far enough that will get us through these tough times. But you have to watch that. We may have to do another increase in 4 or 5 years down the road. But keep the increases going like they should. You need the water. You have to have it. So pay for it. They've gone by for several decades. Not the residents. It was never brought to them like it should have been. And it wasn't. Now, as they say, the buck stops here. This can's not going down the street anymore. It's here. We have to deal with it.
In many ways, the current council and you, the mayor, are dealing with playing catch-up.
That's exactly what it is. Every council person there, they're playing catch-up here. They've addressed it. They had town hall meetings so we could explain this to everyone. And you know what the surprising thing is, Rich? I think we have only had 2 actual complaints that have come in to the water, the building side about the rates. Everybody realized we need to increase the rates. Increase it and let's move on here. And that's what we're doing. We're building this infrastructure up. We've got the rate increase to help to bring the money in, and we're moving on.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, the state originally wanted was recommending a higher increase.
Yes.
So why was the city able to come to a lower agreement? Is it because of the possibility of a future increase again, or how did that work out?
We have set increases that are coming up. The other thing is, at the time, they didn't realize we had debt that's going to be dropping off. So, again, that eases us up there without paying other debt that we have. So once that falls off, you have money that you can apply there. The unknowns is where you need your money, and I'm talking about the water breaks, the sewer breaks. You can predict to a certain amount based on your years of having breaks. You can take your last 3 to 5 years. How many breaks have we had during that time? All right, I got an average here. Well, we can expect that. Our problems is when we're in the wintertime. You're dealing with the cold, the sub-zero degree weather. That's where you have a lot of hard problems trying to find out where your breaks are at.
Well, we know there was a break this week, but otherwise, how has this project been going, and when do you foresee it ending, and is it going to end when you projected it?
Well, it's in phases. I mean, we have the grant money, but it's done in phases. We're on phase 1 now, getting that complete, then it'll go into phase 2, and then eventually phase 3. We have 2 issues here facing this city, and it's been going on for several years. We have wastewater issues, and we have a consent decree for our wastewater, which we've been working on diligently with our attorneys out of Cincinnati, the government or the state of Ohio's attorneys in Columbus. It lied dormant there for several years. Well, no one wanted to bother this dog that was sleeping. Well, guess what? It was awakened, and we're dealing with it now. So we're close to having the consent decree done, which what it does, it lays out a game plan on how we can address the sore issues here. And that's what we'll be able to have a game plan there and follow it. And it's attached with money. We have the issues with our water. A lot of that's going to be addressed with the valve replacements, our fire hydrant replacements, all of that. All of this should have been done years ago. Well, now it's starting. And it's going to take several years, but we will get it done. And that's what the state wants to see. And they can clearly see we have a game plan that's coming in to address this.
The wastewater and water issues, is that just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to infrastructure in the city of Steubenville? I mean, what more needs to be done to get it to where it should be, and what else has been, in your opinion, neglected over the decades?
Well, again, the valves, because had we had the valve situation corrected, we could have tracked down where that leak was be a year ago, January, this past January. We had a massive break on a valve, 80-year-old valve, couldn't locate it. And that's what caused the drought down in downtown. That was a major water loss and a violation with the Ohio EPA. So again, we're addressing that. I have to give credit to the Ohio EPA. They met with us. They gave us a proposal telling us you can change that what fits your city. And that's what we're doing. And we work closely with them. So again, they can be difficult to deal with, but if you can show them financially what you can and can't do, and that you're honestly moving forward, that's what they want to see. And they're happy so far.
We could talk about water all day if we wanted to. But let's talk about a sinkhole now. That sinkhole that formed behind the jail. We have a photo of it. We have some video of it we're going to pull up here in just a second. What's the latest when it comes to this? This started out as a smaller project, and it just kind of has ballooned and ballooned and ballooned.
Well, the reason why it's ballooned, it involves many entities there. It involves the railroad. It involves the city. It involves contractors. Can they do what's required to fix this? I was just down there last Wednesday, and I took photos myself. It's starting to decay more. It's starting to fall more. It's getting closer to the railroad. Thursday, our people met with railroad people, contractors, architects to see exactly how we're going to have to attack this. Again, you don't have a script for this. You don't have a Ouija board that tells you on this day this sinkhole is going to come. This is what you face when you're in an old city and you have an old infrastructure. We just identified a pipeline that went all the way down to the Coke plant. Now, is that a live gas line? We got to find out, is that a true gas line or is it a cut-off one? That's going to have a play in this. But we're going to address this issue. We have to.
Yeah, and we're going to try to, again, pull up a photo of that sinkhole, and you can see that it is considerably bigger than when we started reporting on it.
As you can see on the back part there, different layers of clay and dirt, and then the pipe there. But inside there is another, we believe is the actual gas line in there. Now, whether it's hot or not, we have to test and find out. But that's slowly coming now. Each time a train goes by, it's having shock waves go through, which is probably loosening that dirt. That's why there's a concern from the railroad. So we have to address this as soon as we can, not to mention financially.
Yeah, financially, how much are we talking right now to fix it?
Well, for an initial fix on this, probably around $40,000 to $50,000. But again, we're looking to bypass this whole line, which means we have to lay an additional line in other areas for the sewage to come past and not through that pipe. That'll be eventually just shut off.
So it's another financial, strain, really. I mean, on the city, you're dealing with a lot of issues right now. Is that something that's going to be passed along to taxpayers?
There's a good chance that it is not, for the simple reason we've been very blessed with the grants that we've been receiving, and Columbus knows our issues here. Our legislators know the issues that we're dealing with here, and I've talked to several of them, and they're aware of it. And there's a lot of funding streams out there. When you sit and look at our increase in our water rates have to benefit. We don't have a magic window we can look and say, all right, what breaks are we going to have? You've got to have the money to attack. You've got to have X amount of dollars every year to fix those breaks. Now, part of this $3.5 or $7 million grant for the valve replacement, if we have a cracked line that's hooked to a valve, that money can be used for that. But it cannot be to replace all lines in the city. It has to be attached to a valve for a certain amount of distance.
Well, speaking of breaks, we're going to take a break right now. We'll be back with much more with City Manager Jim Mavromatis after this.
Thank you.
Your home and your family are some of life's most important things, and tinting can help keep them safe and protected. Made in the Shade Wheeling Tinting and Accessories has been providing the Ohio Valley with high-quality tinting services for over 27 years. We offer complete auto detailing starting at just $99, with security and decorative tinting options also available. We make life more comfortable at Made in the Shade Wheeling Tinting and Accessories.
This fall, the truth will be revealed.
What happened was...
Vivica A. Fox and her truth team will sort out fact.
I want to know whether or not you're on anything.
From fiction.
We want the truth.
It's meaningful conflict.
It's not something I can control. I would like to stop.
And instructive resolution.
We're going to talk about some solutions.
The time is now to face the truth.
Weekdays at 2 on Fox 9. This is One-on-One with Rich Pierce, a deeper dive into the issues that affect you.
Well, we are back. Thanks for joining us this morning on One-on-One with Rich Pierce, joined by Steubenville City Manager Jim Mavromatis. And we just talked extensively about water. We're going to try to cover as many topics as we can. So let's talk about crime. There is a perception by folks around the valley and just around the country that Steubenville has a high crime rate. Okay. What's your response when somebody says, oh, Steubenville? You know how it is. They'll just assume something, perhaps without looking crime stats.
I think that's probably been the biggest challenge, only because I've been born and raised here, so I grew up my whole life here before I left at 18 to go to school. I know exactly about the crime. I've been in that profession for many years. This city is like any other city. There will always be crime. I don't care where you live at. No matter, I've been in this business too long. Yes, we have crime here. Our crime statistics have gone down. Why? For several reasons. But this is something that a lot of people don't realize. We may be a town of 18,000, but when you really look at it, what is our population during the daytime? We have major employers here. We're in a tri-state area, meaning we're in Ohio, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania. And if there are certain things that are going on here that has an appetite for criminals, then they'll come here. Now, we've worked diligently to put a lot of pressure on drugs. Well, because that's a forte I know about. But again, we do a good job there. But you're dealing with a substance that's addicting, and they're going to go wherever they have to go for it. But there is crime in every city up and down this Ohio Valley. Our stats have shown the last couple years it has gone down. Council supported me when I asked them to put together, and we took this out of hide. And what I mean by that, we didn't hire extra people for that. We put together initially a 4-man Operation Safe Streets is what it was. 4-man unit with our dog handler included. He was the supervisor. And we put them in areas where we had high crime or high reporting of things going on. And it's drastically cut those areas down. Again, when we have crime areas in a certain areas of town, we'll put those 4 people on it. At times, it's been down as just 1 person. Why? 2 of those officers, and you always try to get your best officers on a special unit, they were also training officers. And we've hired new officers, so their role had to go to train these officers until they can go out by themselves. Well, we're going to beef this back up again. We'll have our 4 people there. But again, crime is going to be there for a multitude of reasons. Drugs have been one thing. Unemployment has been another. You know, one of the things, the hardest thing to do for businesses, government, is to hire people today. There's 2 things that usually will flush out a candidate: drugs or an arrest record. Or now we have people, they really don't want to work. Why? Because I can go on government subsistence. All these things are factors that you have to deal with here. But one of the things I can clearly tell you what's helped us immensely is the citizens calling in. We have more citizens' involvement now. And just to give you a short story on our nutcrackers. When those 2 individuals stole that nutcracker, you would have thought a major homicide occurred here. The outrage of the people to catch them and send them to prison. Now, it was a misdemeanor crime, but here's the important thing. It showed citizen buy-in. And that's what you need. We have that. But that's also, when you talk about citizens, you're talking about your community buy-in. There's 4 stools to this project for crime. Starts with your police department, your prosecutors, your judges, and the community. And you have all 4 right now. I've been blessed with my life and my career to deal with all of that. And I will tell you right now, I will match that against any community. We have an excellent municipal prosecutor, Steve Lamatrice. He does his job. He has saved this city thousands of dollars by his work. Should have had this years ago. Judge Mascio, our municipal court judge, excellent judge. He's increased us on saving money by doing his video arraignments, where we don't have to bring them over here, which costs us money and manpower. Then let's go to our prosecutors, Jane Hanlon and her staff. She's phenomenal, and the rest of her prosecutors are. How do I know that? Because I've dealt with prosecutors my whole life. And then our 2 judges, Judge Michelle Miller and Judge Brzez. Excellent judges. I've watched the sentencings, what they've done on people, appropriate sentencing. And then our citizens out there, because I deal with them every day. And when you have those 4 components together, you're going to have successes. And that's one of the areas I want to keep focusing on while I'm here.
Well, you mentioned your life and career. We're going to get personal with City Manager Jim Mavromatis after this.
My toe is swollen. It could be gout. They say something's going around. I think I tore my meniscus.
Uh-huh.
Maybe not. Hey, babe. It's either nothing or AB to lip or proteinemia.
Coming soon.
An all-female reboot of Itchy and Scratchy.
Oh, my God.
Tonight at 8 on Fox 9.
From the minute that the sun breaks through gray skies of blue, I turn to you and I'm born and ready. I'm born and ready. From the very first sip of my cup, whenever what you catch me up and I'm born and ready. Ready for the setting sun. Love the way you let me know. Yeah, I'm born and ready.
Baby, if you've ever wondered,
What is going on?
Whatever became of me.
I certainly do.
I'm living on the air on MeTV.
Cincinnati?
on Cincinnati WKRP.
on WTOV 9.3, MeTV Ohio Valley, and on cable. This is One-on-One with Rich Pierce, a deeper dive into the issues that affect you.
Welcome back. Before the break, I said we were going to get a little bit personal, and that doesn't mean I'm going to insult you, Jim. That means I'm going to ask you about your career. You had a long career far before you became a city manager of Steubenville, including a stint in the DEA.
Yes, sir.
So tell us about that a little bit. I don't think a lot of citizens know your background.
Probably not. I mean, some of it I do keep quiet because some of the operations are the thing I've been able to do for our government. I mean, again, I left here. I graduated from Big Red in '69, went out to Arizona to go to school, and then I became a Phoenix, Arizona police officer in '73. During that time, I was on patrol, and then I went into narcotics, and I also worked organized crime division. Then eventually, because I liked working narcotics, I went to the United States Drug Enforcement Administration. Well, during that time with them, I was trained in Quantico for a period of time, and my first assignment was in San Diego. I spent 6 years there, dealing along the southwest border, which is one of our hot subjects today, which I'm still quite familiar with. From there, I went to Washington, D.C., in a special operations group, where we specifically work in South and Central America. Again, I'm not a fluent speaker of Spanish. I can speak enough to get me into trouble, but I can get by if I have to. But again, with those tours there in several countries there, I got to go to the actual producing sites of the illegal drugs that came to the United States. And then from there I went back to Washington, D.C., or Cleveland, Ohio, where I had actually 21 counties we were responsible for, and eventually Jefferson was one of them, so we were able to come down here from time to time. Then from there I went to San Juan, Puerto Rico. I was there as the assistant special agent in charge, and I had all the Caribbean islands. So, again, a large range of 6 different foreign offices that I had to visit periodically, and then to deal with Puerto Rico itself. From there, I was then transferred to headquarters in D.C., Arlington, Virginia, where I was the executive assistant to the chief of intel. That's when I got another exposure to the other parts of the world. I went to Asia, I went to Europe, based on our intelligence meetings and things that we had to get done for our side of the shop for DEA. So it opened my eyes up to all those other places there. But what you eventually do see, you get time to see other countries, how they live. And I don't say this being biased or prejudiced, but I can honestly say out of all the countries, there's been at least 27 I've visited, the United States is by far the best. Do we have issues here that we need to fix? Yes, we do. But America was built on immigrants from all over the world. They brought their values with them. They brought their foods, their way of life. This is what made America, and this is what's made us strong as we are. And then I retired. My final spot after that was the El Paso Intelligence Center in El Paso, Texas. So here I am back on the southwest border again, right in the area that we're having all of our problems here. We worked on a lot of what we call special operation projects, and then dealt with a lot of intelligence for the whole United States. I retired out of there, and I came back here where I work for a corporate company that I handled the law enforcement side. And then I did a brief time with the JMHA, Jefferson Metropolitan Housing Authority, which gave me a closer look of our housing units here and how they operate and what the issues were there. And then I did a year in Iraq as an advisor to the United States Army, and I was assigned to the Provost Marshal's office. That gave me the experience of looking at another complete country, the war issues, what we were involved with. And then I came back, and then this opportunity came up, and I accepted the job as the city manager.
A long career. A lot of different paths there, Jim.
Yes.
Well, thanks for telling us a little bit about it. We'll be back to say goodbye after this.
The WMC Orthopedic and Sports Medicine team offers the best care for injured shoulders, knees, hips, and elbows.
Good morning, Mr. Oliva. How you doing? I'm doctors.
We treat you, not just your injury. Whether you're recovering from a sports injury or suffering from a chronic joint condition, our orthopedics team are here to provide the care you need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. WMC is committed to providing the best care so you can get back to being you.
The bladder control aisle. You won't shop here again. Your private business is your own. The constant struggle is over. Now there's a better way. It's HDIS. We home deliver bladder control products. We understand how you feel. For over 25 years, we've home delivered to many of the 20 million Americans who deal with incontinence. We offer all brands. We pay shipping and use plain, unmarked boxes. If we can help you or someone you care for, call for your free product sample pack and $45 in money-saving coupons. Our counselors will help you choose the right product. And unlike stores, we're always in stock. You'll get what you need. Satisfaction guaranteed. HDIS, the better way.
For your free sample pack with your free catalog, $45 in money-saving coupons, and free product samples, call 1-800-467-4027. That's 1-800-467-4027.
We found so much love here at Shriners Hospitals for Children. We were inspired to record a special release of our favorite song, I Want to Know What Love Is, with these kids.
Download it now along with Foreigner's Greatest Hits Live, and all proceeds go to Shriners Hospitals for Children.
Because they treat kids regardless of their family's ability to pay. That's love.
This is One-on-One with Rich Pierce, a deeper dive into the issues that affect you.
Welcome back. Just about one more minute here with Steubenville City Manager Jim Mavromatis. I wanted to give you an opportunity for a final thought.
Well, I want the citizens to know this. This city is moving forward. It's taken some time, and we are moving forward. But as they said, Rome wasn't built in a day, and none of these problems happened overnight. They've been created for several decades. You have a council that wants to move forward. You have city employees that want to work and do their job. I have a great staff. I mean, I'm the manager here, but it's these workers out there, day in and day out. They're out there like Indians. You may not see them, but they're out there working. We have a crew now that's been out there at this water break on Thursday. They started at 1 o'clock, and they're still out there till 11 midnight tonight. They were there. So the bottom line is this. We are attacking our issues here. This is not a city of 40,000. It's a city of 18,000. When you sit and look at the Nutcracker, our fort, our programs we have there, this is all positive. Our First Fridays, home run. We're moving, and that's where we need to go.
All right, Jim, thanks so much for your time today. I appreciate it. And that does it for this edition of One-on-One with Rich Pierce. I do want to thank City Manager Jim Mavromatis for joining me today. And thank you for tuning in. We'll be back in April with another edition of One-on-One with Rich Pierce. Hope you had a good morning. Have a great weekend.